Happy New Year to all, and I hope that Christmas and the holidays have been so far really good to you. And I know when you're seeing this show, it might have to be a couple days after New Year's, but we promised you a show every week, and we have delivered. Maybe not always, of course, with this year, our normal posting day being Monday, falling on Christmas, and then on New Year's. Difficult to get it out on that day, and I think most of you probably didn't really expect it. But main thing is we got the show to you and doing it again, as you can see. So this is a new year, and I really hope it's a great one for all of us. This is also the month of January, which I celebrate. I was born on my father's birthday, so it is one of the other primary groups of specimens that I collected over 52 years now of, since the age of 11, of collecting minerals and cutting them and prospecting for them, just full-blown passion for them. Including when I had and got in the hobby of freshwater and saltwater aquariums. It had 14 total at one time, of some of both. It had to have been some of the most amazing aquariums anyone could have, because of course I took in the freshwater ones, put amethyst crystal specimens lining the back wall, and the agatized coral specimens in the saltwater tanks, because, you know, hence they were born in saltwater, and then converted over time with freshwater, by freshwater. So quite the process, but they work great in either tank, and they clean up well afterwards. So the gravel in some of my tanks was my tumbled stones over decades of tumbling, of course keeping it to the silicates and no carbon, like no malachite or anything like that, just good hard silica stones work best. So I have enjoyed that aspect of branching off of the hobby into that for a while, but yet I still managed to connect it with the specimens I'd put in the aquarium. So it was quite a combination, and always has been. So I have really enjoyed this time of specimen collecting, and it doesn't stop. So this time I spent with my son, which was really, really precious, is the most time I got to spend with him in a good number of years. And so we went up to Chunky Gal, which is, a lot of you know, where I have collected some amazing ruby crystal specimens. So even the time that I could choose to spend, I wrote my son into it and brought him into my world. And then we went on to that mine as well, and hiked in the woods, and that was a great thing to do. So the passion, I tell you what, when you find something that you love to do and you get to make a living from doing it your whole life, the return on that is something that I'm really, really grateful for. And then to have all of you to support this show enough to keep it here now for, well, at Gem Shopping, a total of almost 15 years, 9 years doing a live show, and then 6 years doing this show, which when we first started, I can't believe it's already 6 years since then. So I'm very grateful to all of you for that, and being part of the family that we have here. And so with it being January, brings back, my family's a little bit smaller because I lost my father a year ago this past summer, but being born on his birthday in January, there's always that special connection that I won't have, that my entire life I have had. And most of the birthdays we were able to spend together. So there's like, it's like I think a Siamese twin might feel, losing your other half. after many, many years. So, but the garnet collection was one of the two that I focused on. I think maybe because it wasn't only my birthstone, but it was my father's birthstone, obviously, as well. And then the other one was, I call it the Made in America collection, of course, because, went through that period. Those of us who are old enough to know that and still is the Made in America, buy Made in America. Decades ago, there was a real push for, Made in America items, and, rightfully so. So my Made in America was focused on mineral specimens that were found and discovered here in the United States. And those are the two main ones. If anything, I had to branch out into the zeolites, one of the most amazing group of minerals that form some of the, from the most delicate formations to some of the most complicated formations, the zeolites. And then the commercial value of zeolite minerals is astonishing because of their absorption properties and the way their crystal structure is set up. So anyway, just glad that we have made it to another year, and I just hope it is a really good one for all. Not many comments. We don't have trivia today from last week because of what I had thought may happen, and that is that the show would post only, well, in this case, 23 hours or so before I recorded the next one, which certainly wouldn't give enough time for anyone to necessarily see the show and answer the trivia. Same may happen next week. So there won't be a trivia question at the end of today's show, so I just want to let you know that. So we'll get started, though, with the comments. All right, so we have Matt. Matt did answer the trivia. A little late to make the deadline last week, but he said, so it's Matt in Texas. Merry Christmas, Gem family. Keeping message short for Christmas, we are really enjoying our new UV reactive treasures. They're a lot of fun when you get into the ultraviolet end of mineral specimens. Here are my 1218 trivia responses. What is the name given to the unique three-faced calcite crystal termination that is not commonly seen? And that would be nailheads. Got that one right. What green stone, when tumbles, can resemble emerald and aventurine? And that one you got right as well. Happy New Year, and Mr. Matt from Texas. You would have been in the running on that one, so well done. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn says, Merry Christmas from my house to your house. Just saw your Christmas greeting on GSN. How nice. Miss Barbara, yeah, so she sent a really neat picture, and it's always neat just to be able to put, so in Brooklyn. And in my mind, I have certain images of different areas of New York that I haven't been to since a little boy. But, if you said Cape Cod, Massachusetts, I have a certain image, but I had been out to the Cape before, and I remember it being very much like my mental image. So Brooklyn, she showed a picture of her house with bows in front, really, really cool, and very close to kind of what I had in mind. So that's kind of neat to always be able to picture not only the person, but the environment as well the person lives in. Then Miss Barbara goes on to say, hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Well, you said, see you next week, and you are a man of your word. I try to be. Thank you, ma'am. I expected you disappear for days with your son up at Chunky Gal. Nice post-Christmas surprise to have a full show on an otherwise wet and warm Wednesday. What is that beige coating on the Moroccan vanadinites? It is definitely directional, like it was sprayed on from one direction, or like a one-sided sunburn. Can it or should it be removed? Okay, there's your answer. Did that tell you everything you needed to know about that? Well, for those of you, you saw it last week, and if you want to just haven't seen it, go back, I think it was the last week's show when I showed a couple of vanadinites, and you can see on one of them where it is a beige, opaque surface coating, it looks like, on the vanadinites, and it's very directional. And like she said, it looks like it's sprayed on. In other words, everything, or sunburn, in one particular direction with areas behind it being blocked in front. So it's real odd how that would have geologically actually occurred. And that would be something certainly has always piqued my curiosity as to doing enough research to find out exactly what that is. So if anybody wants to do that, Miss Barbara, that'd be great if you wanted to look that up, or maybe Mr. Brad out there. But I have, from my end, I have tried removing it to some extent without affecting the crystal and itself. So most likely it would entail, because in looking at it, it's not like tangerine quartz where you have the hematite coating on the exterior of the quartz and can easily be removed if you wanted it. But then you just have white quartz, and so it's removed with basically a rust remover. And I'll tell you how if you want to do it, because it's not one of those acids that's scary. All acids are scary, but it's not one of those really scary ones. Oxalic acid, you know, it's just kind of, and it can take time, and that's the way the professionals remove these coatings when they need to, like Diamond Hill. A lot of the Diamond Hill quartz, which of course I know one of the original owners, not the current owner, but owner previously, and so real well. And I tried to sell y'all a really cool Diamond Hill specimen that had the 3 colors: natural white, tangerine orange, and then the black manganese oxide coating on it. And then you bought it, and it, you know, it's like, okay, well, it's like one of the finest representations of Diamond Hill, double-sided piece. You know, that triangular one. We put it out sometimes for display, but it's really not for sale anymore because it's too cool, too representative of Diamond Hill. So, but what you can do is, when you are the mine owner and have all kinds of different specimens, so he experimented, and all that can be removed. So what's left is the white crystals, but they don't look like Arkansas crystals. They're more of an opaque white, and really not as attractive as the Mother Nature's exterior coating. But so that's drifting to quartz coatings. There are those coatings that is on aquamarines from like Gilgit, Pakistan, and whatnot, and it's a thicker seeming coating. It's that white coating, and I believe it to be like a feldspar secondary growth after the aqua, and it is just not removable. Acids won't touch it. It doesn't affect it. You know, I think it would take quite some time to hand remove it. I'm sure on some really fine specimens that they actually will do that. There's a difference in hardnesses between the two, so between aqua and the feldspar. So you could actually go in and with the right, most of the time they use like sandblasting beads and things like that, with the right material, and remove it and then flake it off as you get it thinner. Something like that, if it would really affected the aesthetics of a high-end specimen, because it would still be time-consuming. So on the vanadinites, I think that you'd have to be able to get to the flat face and polish it off. Not possible. There's not an acid, because if an acid eats it, so on the vanadinites, the surface coating isn't actually an exterior additional coating on the vanadinite. It looks like it is part of the vanadinite crystal itself and not a secondary growth. So that would be an issue, because anything that you could remove that would affected. And if once you go to polishing it and removing material, then it's not original, and that would go against what I would want as far as being picky about those kind of things. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but I know that it can't be removed, or else it would be removed, because overall, on many specimens, it can affect the aesthetics unless you view specimens, especially as like Raven does. She has a much more universal approach to things that come out of the ground, and she is like, just leave it exactly that way. It is totally beautiful the way Mother Nature did it. You can't improve upon Mother Nature, and she has a good point about that. So that's what I know about that coating. It's like, especially the way vanadinites grow, you can't get to one without destroying another, or back to them, or to their flat faces, or anything like that. So, yeah, unfortunately. Okay, so she goes on to say, oh, thank you for explaining the Geiger, otherwise known as the yellow Geiger counter. That was very educational. We are spoiled for choice by the many tools on offer, and you helped us weed out what we do and don't need, and what price range to consider. Well done. Is it only metamic zircons that break down due to nuclear decay? Okay, first let me get back to the Geiger counter that I was showing you. Like I said, it's multifunction, but that is beside the point, because you have the instruction manual. I actually, when shopping for the one I thought would work best for me, I actually talked to the vice president of sales of the company, which I thought was really cool. And I talked to him maybe an hour on the phone. It was a long time. And, so I told you, the price range that it fell in. And after talking to him, he really answered everything I want to know. And so he really knew the product, in which he should. But he also knew exactly what the product does and what I was looking for. In other words, he understood radioactivity and everything involved with that. And remember, they use it for many other things other than the rock count, other than minerals. Detecting radioactivity is useful in many other areas that we don't think about. Everything from hospitals, every place that has the little tiny bit of radioactivity that they're allowed to have in these little tiny pellets that drive these cancer life-saving treatments and whatnot. Everything, once you are dealing with that type of thing, you need to be able to detect any type of radioactive leakage. That's why even people wear those badges. When you get enough, radioactivity, then it goes off. Better to detect it first than have to deal with that. So, and then radon in people's homes. When you have call someone out to test for radon in a home, if you don't have a detector, which I don't know if I trust my life on those, but radon is a problem in Georgia due to the type of soil that we have. And so there's a bigger market than you would think. And so with that market comes the cheaper side of those kind of items. And it's one of those kind of items that you get what you pay for. And so one time my Geiger counter got wet, and it didn't, the buttons, the controls didn't work like it was supposed to. And I thought, uh-oh, because there's a lot of different kind of things in there that, you know, I don't know how to mess with or fix or anything like that. So I gave it the old phone, you know, phone treatment when you get your phone wet, using a hair dryer, and then literally just let it run on low, not on heat, just let the air blow across it, and I opened it up, which there's a seal all around the battery compartment. Opened it up, and anyway, boom, it worked. I was able to fix it. So it's like, wow, that's cool. That's cool. You know, electronics, normally something goes wrong, you got to throw them away. But in this case, and yeah, it's worked great since then. So anyway, I like the product. Now, your question as to are there any, okay, metamict zircons. So green zircons are a natural product of the earth. Most of the time they're Sri Lankan. And what it is metamict is a stone that had a crystalline structure, but over time, alpha particles, which are helium nuclei, alpha radiation, broke down that crystal structure. You know, so instead of the crystals and the structure of them being lined up and arranged in a select and ordered pattern, they became jumbled and like the molecules of opal. Same thing, opal and quartz, take for example. Quartz is SiO2, silicon dioxide, crystalline form. It forms in hexagonal, and you know, when you look at it on the molecular level, they're arranged in an ordered pattern. Opal is SiO2 with water, but still, chemically still, just silicon dioxide. Non-crystalline, you'll never find an opal crystal unless it's pseudomorphed, replaced something else that is a crystal. That's called amorphous. So the formation of opal is amorphous. In other words, it's like if you dumped a random bag of marbles into a bucket. There's no set ordered pattern. But if you took those marbles and arranged them in particular rows, then you have an ordered pattern, and then you have a crystal. Radiation over time will break down a crystal structure, and then it becomes what they call metamict, non-crystalline. And it's also what gives the green zircons its lower refractive index, its lower specific gravity, and often that cloudy type of color to it. Now, there is in the market, showed up years ago, where they have taken, and of course, if there's natural radiation can create green, then man can do it unnaturally. And I saw these big green zircons showing up in the market that were a forest green, like a perfect color green for green zircon, and not cloudy, really great clarity. And sure enough, I said right away that they were treated, you know, mankind irradiated. And then I saw, and sure enough, that that was being done to zircons, especially when you see them. So if they're big, look too good to be true, just like amethyst in the market, when you get these incredible purple with red and blue flash out of these amethysts, and they're $2 a carat, you can be guaranteed that it is not naturally mined and that it is a lab-grown amethyst. So same thing with these zircons. What it took was that particular zircon to be in the ground. Remember, zircons are one of the oldest gemstones there is. 800 million years. They're from the Precambrian era. So it took 800 million years of nature's natural radiation, and it occurs from basically inside. So zircons are like apatite. They can have natural REEs, rare earth elements, or slight small percentages of natural radioactive elements which are like uranium or thorium. And it is the slow breakdown from the inside out of the crystal structures how this happens. And of course, you know, the surrounding like granite. Granite has, believe it or not, a radioactive signature in a lot of cases, because granite, by its own nature of how it's formed, can have a huge combination of other elements in it that will give you a little bit higher radiation signature. So the combination of the stone itself and the ground that it's in will lead to that. But it takes a long, long time to get there. Some of the other ones I talked about the other day was econite. Econite is that other green stone that is listed as a strongly radioactive gemstone. And like I said, I have a few faceted. I didn't cut them, no way. They read over 5,000 counters per minute, which is crazy, crazy high, and they're not even advised to be worn as jewelry. Thorite, allanite. These are a couple others that are metamixed, that become metamixed. They're not always metamixed when you find them, but if they're in the earth long enough, in the right environment, they can be, including sphene. Sphene can become metamixed. Some of the stones that are not when you think they would be. One of them you're very familiar with. We checked it the other day. Apatite. You saw the reading on apatite, how high it is. Natural RE, rare earth elements, REEs, occur often in apatite, and within its structure, but it doesn't break down. It doesn't become metamixed. So it's not one of those rules that can be applied. Gadolinite is another one that is becomes metamixed. So some of the others are, you wouldn't recognize the names. They get kind of complicated, but the main ones we covered, and you wouldn't always know it. You wouldn't always know it. So, of course, zircons, and especially the green zircons. So it's not a perfect science when it comes to using the Geiger counter, but it certainly is a fun treat when you can just run it over. I like stream beds, and in the corner of a stream bed where it piles up all the pebbles and all the rocks, and you run it over there, and then you get a higher reading, and then you can isolate it easily down to exactly the one little pebble it might be that's creating it, and it especially in the granites around here, all kinds of things will erode out. You never know what you might find, and in the gravels, everything from ilmenite to monazite and zircons. So yeah, it is around you. I have had a lot of fun with the with the Geiger counter. So here's wishing everyone a happy and healthy New Year. Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. We have Cindy in Pennsylvania. Happy New Year, Rock family. Great show, Shawn. Love the mining stories. So glad you and your son had time together. Looking forward to seeing all of you in the new year. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Yeah, where my son just came back from. So he was in the Nantahala National Forest, the North Georgia Mountains, Nantahala. Oh, we went, did I tell you? I got to make sure I tell you. We went to the Bigfoot Museum in Blue Ridge, which is literally, I didn't realize it. It was on this back road from my family home, which has been my family home up on a mountaintop in LJ for 40 years, 40 years or so. They did own the entire street, which was 2 houses, but they sold off the other little house that was on it. So, but they got to name it after themselves at the time when all the roads had to be named for 911, which was kind of neat. But it was only going a back road from their house, coming from the other direction, instead of coming in from the town of LJ. Was it was like 15 minutes at the most, was the Bigfoot Museum, Sasquatch, right? And of course, Raven and I love to believe in Sasquatch. Just, I don't know. It's a fun thing to imagine. There's something that is roaming the woods that no one has been able to figure out what it is. And I wouldn't believe it at all, except in many cultures, including the I think it's called the Yowie in Australia. So in many cultures, this goes back thousands of years, the Sasquatch lore. And so it goes beyond the white man lies and fishtails that you could easily develop from a bear standing up in the woods kind of thing. So it was kind of neat to see that, and actually that's where I got the few things I got for Raven for Christmas. You know, she had to have a bumper sticker. Oh, she can't wait to put it on her Jeep. Yeah. So anyway, we did that, but then of course we took off for our mining adventures, and like I said, when we were up at Chunky Gal, within 5 minutes I broke a piece of smaragdite and it had a ruby in it, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And we cracked rocks for the next hour or two and never found another thing. So, and of course the mine was sealed off for good. I got to thinking, I remember one of the earliest notes in some of that material that I've been selling was 2005, when I documented when I was there, and I think I was there prior to that. So yeah, I've been going there for 18 plus years, and it's kind of neat to see that the mountain, the Chunky Gal, or Corundum Hill, it's called, hasn't changed. It's been protected. It's in the forest. The other place now, again, like I said, inaccessible. I should have taken and gotten some of the specimens off the wall, which, completely legal, as long as you only use a pick, and in the stream only a pan and a shovel. I should have gotten the crystals. I just didn't realize how unique and really a treasure they were, because now from that one particular mine, now I know why the word extinct can be used, because everything that was in that mine is no longer available. It might as well be extinct. That mine is sealed for good. And it's actually a better word than closed. Closed has a meaning of, sounds like, well, it's closed, but it could be opened at another point. When this mine, when they seal it, this thing is sealed, even scientists, which makes sense. Because once you put a chain on it and a lock, well, that can be easily snipped. So what they did was seal it permanently, from scientists, from everyone. So it is extinct. But I have, and I have the proof of that specimen. So I actually am thinking about taking that picture, or maybe just a better one even, and putting it in Mindat, because there really isn't an example of that type of material coming from that particular mine. And well, I think it would be deserving of it. And for those of you that don't use mindat.org, try it. Take a look at it. I think you'll really like it for a tool. Penny and Mahali say, hello, Shawn, Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. Thank you for another great weekly show. Thank you for the trivia gifts. I love turquoise. I have a few pieces of jewelry, but I didn't have any specimens. As for the malachite, I thought malachite was only from the Congo. I do have a piece of fibrous malachite, so this will be a perfect addition. I'm glad I'll be able to get a couple of items from my list, and please don't forget the clamshell. Nope, the clamshell is in with the bunch. And I am actually going to look for some other. We found several of the items, but I know I have the items. I just have to find them. After years of missing out on the limited amount of ametrine specimens and stones, either because I was too slow or they were too expensive, I finally scored the ametrine specimens. Good for you. I couldn't believe they must have been meant for you that particular time, because you got them, I think, at a sale price, and everyone passed on them the first time around. there will not be any more. So we wish everyone a wonderful year ahead, and may 2024 be brighter, more peaceful, and beautiful than this year. I certainly hope so as well, Miss Penny. See you next week. With love, Penny and Mahali. With love back to you both from myself, all of us here at Gem Shopping, and especially my friends that helped do this show. You know, Asif, Dave's out sick today. You know, we have Latif, we have Christy, we have Kevin in the back offices and inventory, and all the sales reps, believe it or not, over all these years, they know when this show posts because their phones ring and light up the stadium, so to speak, where the sales reps are, and bring in the call. So, yeah, well done to all of you to support the show like you have. And Miss Penny, I am glad you from Quebec. Of course, you know, malachite can form pretty much anywhere that there is copper because it's easy. It is actually, if you leave a piece of copper out, it'll develop green, and most of the times what forms is copper carbonate, aka malachite, and versus, you know, copper oxide. Now iron oxide, that forms easily. You know that as rust. So there is minerals that form before your very eyes all your life, and you just never realized it. You know, the green that you see on a old copper pipe, what it that it is malachite forming. Especially if you have water that has a carbonate component to it. So like a lot of people, whether you have hard water or not, or lime water, there you go. So yeah, by the way, speaking about minerals made before your eyes, few years ago, I don't know how long time gets away from me, we did, and it was really cool. From week to week, an experiment, we grew crystals right here on the show. And we're gonna do that again. We're gonna do that again. I have some neat crystal material lined up to make them, and we'll have a little fun and we'll learn a lot in the process. Okay, so there's no trivia. Let me see if I covered everything that I wanted to. Let's see. Yep, working on your list there, Miss Penny. Oh, Anthony, you're not, you didn't write anything this week, but I wanted to address, when you said a comment a few weeks back about your trivia gift, and you said trivia gift, I thought you said I got a trivia gift, and you said interesting. And that's all you commented about. But in reality, if you did get something, it was not the trivia gift you were supposed to get. You were supposed to get what I have right here, just to show you. Of course, you remember that. And when I saw it come back from my items I had shown from that particular week that didn't sell, I said, well, this wasn't supposed to happen. This is Mr. Anthony. So I talked to Christy, who is so great at keeping up with those things, and so she said, we'll get it sent to you. And she didn't see anything else being sent to you. So when you said interesting, I think you meant interesting that I haven't received my trivia present yet, Shawn. Where is it? That's what you need to write so that I get the message a little, sometimes, you know, I'm older than I was. Which, you know what? Here's the other thing. When I walk the mountain up to Chunky Gal, and when I think about, that's what the 18 years I was thinking about this morning, why it was relevant. See, my head, now it's coming around why I even brought that up. So I backed out 18 years from the age I'm turning 63. And I had to do it a couple times in my head to make sure. Normally I'm good with numbers. So I was 45, 18 years ago. The difference in everything from cracking the rock to walking up the hill to endurance was huge. And I wondered why my son was so far in front of me and why I had to find me a walking stick, which, by the way, I found a great walking stick. I was able to actually, and I don't cut anything down, I take deadwood, and the bark peeled off. So it was this beautiful, beautiful color, a piece of oak, and I'm gonna shellac spray it and add a walking stick to our collection. I should have taken one, but it was actually more fun to find one. And it was almost like given to the universe, because as soon as I said, oh, I wish I had my walking stick, and it wasn't probably 20, 25 feet right into the woods, I found it, and it was perfect, used it the rest of the time. And so my son is way in front of me. He was so great. I took 2 5-gallon buckets, very optimistic about how much we were going to carry back out. He said, Dad, let's just take one. So we put all the picks in the one, and he carried literally everything, the water, everything, including when I took my coat off. He said, let me carry that. But it was really nice. I felt really spoiled, and I think also, though, I didn't turn down the help, because when I remember back when I was at the age of 45, wow, versus now, big difference. Okay, I got a great show planned for you. All kinds of things. We're gonna get to show and go on as many items as I can, as quick as I can. So don't expect big presentations, but expect to find great sales opportunities and new items along the way. We'll be right back with the start of the show. All right, so someone's gonna get a second chance on a specimen that I only had 2 of, but one was errantly sent to another client, and they sent it back. It would have been a great one for them to keep, but maybe they had already, or maybe they don't collect something as unique and rare as cinnabar. Now, cinnabar, if you are out at many of these home goods stores and whatnot, you will often see items labeled as cinnabar, and it's kind of silly because it's not the #1 meaning of it. And what those are, it's an epoxy resin type of thing that they actually cast into items, and they call it cinnabar. It's red, and it is absolutely nothing to do what cinnabar really is. What cinnabar is simply 2 elements, mercury and sulfur. So it's HGS. That is the chemical formula. And it is from this beautiful red material that fun silver liquid that we played with as children, that we can no more, that we mostly got from broken thermometers. Now, mostly, it is used in mining. And in mining, in situations that the illegal miners will use. And it is an inexpensive way to extract the flour gold out of the heaviest material that you're left with. And then what they don't do is what I have, and that's have a mercury retort. And I actually got one, because I wouldn't normally, but I got it with a whole collection of items, mining items, when I bought one of the used sluices and everything that came with it. Well, one of the items was mercury and the retort. So a retort it looks like a little tiny miniature still. And it is what you can use to extract flour gold from, let's say, black sand. Black sand often is very close to a specific gravity of gold, and the little fine flour gold that may linger in it is difficult to extract separately. So if you mix it with mercury, it will combine and make it what they call an amalgam with the mercury. If you burn off the mercury, what it leaves is a little beautiful bead, bright, shiny color gold at the bottom of, let's say, your flask that you may be using to heat it up, or your ceramic dish that might be used. But in all those situations, the mercury is burnt and off and left in the air, either to be breathed by those standing around or into ecosystems where it doesn't belong. the best way is to burn it off and use the mercury retort, which is operates like a still. It cools it off and drops it back out as liquid mercury to be used over and over again if you're going to go that route. Remember, mercury is one of the heavy metals that stays in the food chain, and from the smallest little minnow on up to the biggest tuna, every fish that was eaten by these higher level predators, including mammals, that mercury will follow every one of those animals and build up in the larger predators, which is a shame. So it's something that needs to be watched, and unfortunately, it should be taken out of the environment use, illegal use, which is unfortunately, again, mostly gold mining that is a lot to do with it. But there's other good things that mercury can be used for when done respectfully. Now, here's the coolest thing about this crystal. Let me just backlight this because there's nothing else like it. Look at that color. That is, Burma ruby red. You can see the crystal shape, the hexagonal pattern to this. And as I turn this, look at that red. It has been faceted. There's some crazy fasteners I know that challenge themselves on fastening harnesses at 1.5 and 2 and things like that. But that would be wasting a wonderful crystal set in beautiful dolomite. And that's what you're seeing with this. That is a stunning look and an opportunity for only $58. Same price as the other one. You can see the metallic surface, which is kind of a hint. See that kind of metallic look to the surface of that. Beautiful, beautiful dolomites as well. So that's just bonus. These are really well-shaped crystals of dolomite. Look at that, including some larger ones there as well. Only $58 on that. All right, let's look at the next item. We have item 11072. Let's see, 1103723. And if you ask me again, I'll probably tell you something different. Let me get out the needed loop for such things. Yeah, 1103-723. I'll say it different probably every time. All right. Now, in this opportunity, I have, look at this. I had a moment to play around. So I arranged these, but there was a purpose to that. I wanted to see how many have the telltale sign that you want to see when you're buying natural earth mined amethyst. And what you can look for is zoning, where a part of the stone, when they're cut well and you look straight down on them, they won't have it. But from angles, you'll see that zoning, and it'll be a different color. Like here, you can see the lighter color and the darker color in them. You flip these around and you can see them even better from the back. But it's certainly easy when you just change the angle on them. You can see it in that one. A good cutter will orient it so when you look straight down on them, they don't give that up. But you can certainly see the zoning. You want to see that. There's a clear area up there. You want to see that. You want amethyst to have that. If you get a bunch of amethyst and it has no zoning, yeah, I'd question it. Even the small stones, because that's where they're getting away with a lot of the sprinkling in lab grown, or it's all lab grown. People just buy by the price and think they're getting a great deal and making a great purchase when all they're buying is something synthetic that has no value. This is for sale at a crazy price that I could never cut these stones for. Let's see, we have 16 stones. Last price, you know what? Here we go. Let's make them so that they sell. How about this? $16, $1 a stone. Anthony knows how hard that would be to cut them for $1 a stone. Let's look at item number 109-9423. Anthony, speaking of, was the wise one that he was the one that talked about the parcel that he got that he got only had, I think, one of these pieces of jade in it. We're supposed to have 6. Yeah, let's look at that. It is 109. 9423. Did I get that right? Yeah. 1099423. Yep, that's it. Okay, and Anthony was the wise one by getting the parcel that had, I think 6 pieces in it. This one I haven't shown yet. It had 2, and it's for just someone that wanted. Look at this. Look how beautiful this. This is, cutting quality. These can go in aquariums. Look at that. Look at that natural. Look, see the roundedness and even the polish to it. The river will do that. These are alluvial, so these were actually recovered from a river where they had washed out of their original deposit, had been in the river, and a lot of, believe it or not, jade around the world, nephrite around the world is actually found alluvially. And so it's some fantastic, because it's already almost semi-polished, because this is roughly around a hardness of 6.5, and it tumbles down creeks with, remember, mostly silica rocks, which are hardness of 7. That slight difference in hardness over time can actually put a polish like this you see on them. Really neat. Anyway, these two, look at that. They just look great even lying together in a display. $12. $12. You know what? Let's do this. Let's make it $10 for the 2. $10 for the 2, and boy, I know, I got Latif here on camera. He's guaranteed to remind me just how inexpensive I'm offering some of these guys. So let me see. Okay, now the other week, we were talking about, let me show you this, because it's item 1012821. For those of you that love fluorescent items, that love carved items, and love organic gemstones. Now, when I say organic gemstones, what's the first one that comes to mind? Well, for me, it is the one totally natural, beginning to end. Now, a lot of people might say, well, pearl. Well, that's true, but most pearls, remember, unless they're completely natural pearl formed around an impurity or grain of sand in a clamshell, they're going to only have formed around mostly a man-made implanted mother of pearl bead. Then you have your natural growth. But if you are talking an organic gemstone and it is amber, that is the real deal all the way. 1012821. And this is a fluorescent blue Indonesian amber carving. It's 13 grams. 13 grams. And I'm going to backlight this in a moment and show you. It's circa 20 million years old, is roughly the age of Indonesian amber, and the frog is 2.25 inches long. 2.25 inches long. And that's what I mean. See this, even the jade. So let's say you bought the jade for $12 and you thought, well, I want a neat little display, Frog on something green goes really perfect. I'm going to show you the real color of this guy. Let me backlight this a little bit for you. Look at that. Look at that. You have some cherry red color. Here's the really cool thing is there's very little organic material. Sometimes in the Indonesian amber, you can have a lot of darker inclusions, which are organic type material in it. In this particular one, look at this translucency. And that's really not the coolest thing. The coolest thing, I think, is its fluorescence. Look at that cherry red color. I think that it looks like a leopard frog, what they call a leopard frog, because the leopard frog has spots. And that one has some spots like it. So you can see how cool that would be on a couple of jade pieces like that. creating your own type of look. Or one of these, remember last week I showed that other type of organic gemstone in a way, the Petoskey stones, or let's see, agatized coral in a way is definitely an organic gemstone. It started off as natural coral and petrified into organic agatized coral. At least that's the way I want to see it. So it's amber is really neat, having gone through a polymerization process to convert it from copal. That's the process before it becomes officially amber, and it's easy to tell copal from amber through several different methods of testing that we've covered before. But this is a really nice piece, and I haven't shown him in a while, and I have discounted this guy as well because we are doing our end of the year sale, and officially it is last year for when I'm doing this, so on the date I'm doing this, so it works for me. Price on this guy, big time opportunity, because I am offering this for only $18. $18, and I'll hold him in my hand so you can see it. He just needs a little dusting off. I've had him wrapped up in paper for some time. But for the fluorescent lover, for the one that, I always like to create little scenes. And it really lends itself to doing that. That looks really good. So, okay, $18 in that amber, that high quality amber frog, and $12 in the jade. $30, and you have, 3 different pieces of gemstones. The jade is, remember, made in America, part of the Made in America collection, and being Alaskan, that still counts. Indonesian on the frog, but that is a really nice high quality piece of Indonesian amber in the world, and the way amber is viewed. Now, here is one of the Pakistani 4, 113, 41, 23. 113, 41, 23. And if you do not have all 4 of the Pakistani 4, you need to work on them. That is the nickname that Barbara gave to the 4 batches of specimens I got years ago that I have been offering, and they are Sphene. Sometimes I forget it myself. Sphene, that incredible pink apatite, which I think I pretty much have sold out of specimens to offer. Those amazing Sphene crystals, which I don't have really many of those left at all. So we have the Sphene, the pink apatite, the red zircons, those amazing red zircon specimens, and then this one, which is Triplite. So now Triplite is kind of the last of the 4 that I have brought out and offered. And this happens just to be a really high quality individual specimen. Triplite never crystallizes like we would want it to. It often and very much is grew in an environment that didn't lend itself to forming well-shaped crystals. But the color is still everything you expect in Triplite, which is an orangish pink to yellowish orange and whatnot. Look at that. And Anthony was able to find a faceted stone out of one of these pieces. This is just a really nice clarity piece. It's on a little piece of quartz matrix here. And so just would make a nice kind of thumbnail specimen of a really nice quality. And it's a great color. And the clarity is kind of unknown. I'm not really sure what that would look like once you start cutting into it. So it's still from that one small pocket that was found in 2015, that well-known pocket, and I got my share of it and was happy to get what I did because, again, that long ago in the market, it is already disseminated and there is not much available. But I'm going to put this on a big discounted opportunity and offer it for only $18. I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get in on each of those four. Because now, like I said, I'm not sure I can even offer red zircon. So we're down to only a couple of the pieces being available. Now, I do have a large specimen of pink apatite I might bring in for someone that's willing to, want something like that. So, yeah, you have to want it. Some of these other beautiful big items I've brought in, are great to show, but difficult to take care of in transporting them. And I know you love seeing them, but also I need to sell a couple of them, and you need to take the opportunity to get them at these prices when I do discount them, which unfortunately I may have to do. We have item number 1128423. Now, this is a neat combination. There were two other batches I got over the years, but they weren't the Pakistani 4. They were the, one actually kind of was, aquamarine from Gilgit, which I know Miss Gabby, unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet her. I don't know what happened or where she went, but I didn't hear anything. I certainly would have found the time. I usually am always here on Thursday. So anyway, she got the largest one of the Pakistani Gilgit Pakistan aquas. It's a tremendous specimen. Has little spessartine garnets in it. It has a anhydro bubble in it, I discovered. And all those two items weren't built into the price. The dealer wasn't even aware that anhydros could form in those crystals, so he was kind of shocked. I told him after the fact. So anyway, there was that batch of aquas, which was really an amazing collection that I sold over the years. And then the Orongo aquas. So what we have here is one of the Orongo aquas. Look at that. Here is a amazing piece, item 1128423. And you can see that this has some wonderful bicolor to it, natural color. That rich, deep blue would be considered a Santa Maria color blue. And then you can see the clarity and more of the green tone. Look at that. So if I heat treated that piece, which I've heat treated enormous amounts of aqua over the years, used to do it basically professionally for cutters, there wouldn't be a blue. That blue would be altered. Here's the other neat thing is you have some shoral crystals, tourmaline. And in this case, you have shoral that was growing in an area where another crystal was, which I think is always kind of cool when it fills, nature wants to fill in the gaps. Look at this. So this is a natural face here, and it's not necessarily a cleavage face because you actually have some skeletal growth on here. Some stair steps up there, and again, here's that white material I was talking to you about that I found on the Gilgit specimens and Orongo, which I think is a feldspar and not removable. If it was, it would be. Now, as part of this collection, there is another crystal that goes with it. And this now has become extremely hard to get a hold of. The Russian golden beryl. Now, golden beryl is not what you think of these days. This is more of the true heliodor. But you know, for clarity's sake, I just have the golden beryl in there. Heliodor was a name really given originally to this type of color of golden beryl, even with a little bit of a greenish yellow tint to it. This one has a little bit more heavier on that side, but that is a good thing. You also see natural color divisions there, which are really cool because you see let me point to it, a green right there, almost like an emerald green. As you look at this, which is really neat, because remember, emerald is a beryl. You have a couple other different lines here, and then you have this darker line. So as the crystal grew, it went through different stages of the impurities that were in the growth mix, the crystal growth mix, creating that. So this actually looks facet quality. Not actually, it is, if you wanted to work with that middle section and create kind of a neat piece. What a wonderful collection of two. This actually has a natural rim around the top that would really lend itself to being wire wrapped. And now that Andrew is working on Miss Gabby's piece and is back around wanting to do some wire wrapping, I could have that done as well for you. I have a sale on these two pieces, believe it or not. It's an outstanding opportunity. And I can't imagine I guess if they don't sell at this price, I am not going to go any lower and probably will pull them all together. I'm looking at the weights right now, trying to figure out how to do this. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's make them only a final price, so that gets a final next to it. Well, it looks like if I did $1 a carat, that'd be $78. Let's make it $77. You know I like auspicious numbers. 78 would be as well, but $77 on the both crystals. And yeah, try to find that opportunity elsewhere to get this quality crystal. You would pay well in excess, especially where are you going to get anything like that that is Russian now? It has to already be in somebody's stock, and from years ago already, because this thing has been ongoing already for years, and with no end in sight. Now, let me show you part of the January collection, and there is you know, I let a few more out in the market of this material. We're talking about Japanese iridescent rainbow andradite. I have a large crystal still available. It is 7 carats and considered very large. Wow, look at the colors in that. Did you look at that? That is the color in the crystal. That is not a reflection off of something here in the studio. Wow. Wow. That is a spectralite blue. You know, like look at that. Now that's a natural crystal face that you're seeing that, and then oh, yep, sorry about that. Too excited about this piece. It is item number 1127923. And then look at the colors. Look at the colors on that angle. It's another stone that its source is extinct. Not, it's there, but the look at that. Look at that blue on the edge. The village that this is mined at is from an old magnetite mine, and the rock hounds, when this was first found, like in 2004, and the dates are sometimes wrong. Some say 2003, others say 2004. Either way, one thing is consistent: when it was closed in 2005. The rockhounds, I guess there's a lot of Japanese rockhounds as well. My son, that stayed there for quite some time, said as much. And he went to this one town. There was nothing. He said, "Dad, you would have loved it. It was just rock shops." You go up this tram, and at the top there's this town, and he showed me some pictures. And outside were these big rose quartz boulders and other things. And it was pretty neat to see. So there is definitely rockhounds there that overwhelmed the old elders of the village, and they said no more. And then they started arresting people because this kind of material, that's like a gold nugget. You are not going to keep a rockhound away from it. Until they started arresting them. Look at the blue on the end cap of that, and then look at the little other side face to that. Oh, that is incredible. I cannot believe that this has not been already scooped up, especially the size of these. When they get into this size, look, there's another face. So this is just full of color. And that's what you want to see. And let's see, you can see relative to my hand how big that is. There is a beautiful golden face right there. Let me look at that from one angle, and it could be a completely different color from another angle. All right. Anyway, let's make this one. You know, my thing is, if it doesn't sell, it gets a sale price and gets lowered, but this already, compared to the market value of it, was already really inexpensive. But here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to make it less, per my own instructions to myself. I'm going to make this guy at 7 carats. It was only $77 before. $68. $68, and that is a final price on that. It will not be any less ever, because at that size, I'll keep it for anything less than that. Those in the know, like Barbara, already, that's why Barbara has scooped them up. Anthony has scooped them up. Miss Gabby has got them. Everybody in the know knows how inexpensive I have offered these, and it's because I have the collection that I do that I'm even able to do it. It's not wise because, again, I'm giving away quarters for nickels and dimes, and that's not, in the end, that does not make you any money. Especially if you hang on to things like this, they become really valuable. Look at the rhodochrosites. It was gang material before. Rhodochrosites were thrown out onto the ore pit. Gang material is material that comes from a mine that isn't from the primary vein. It's junk. They consider it junk, and it's tossed out of the mine. And that is where the sweet home rhodochrosites were and wound up over the years. And people are still digging in some of the old mine tailings for what they can find. So now look at the value to them. You just never know how something is going to be valued and take off. And these have taken off huge. Rightfully so. There's no place else that they come from, and they have been deemed as the finest iridescent rainbow andradite garnet in the world. They are found in a couple other places, but none of them with the true entire range of rainbow colors. And everything about them is just way better than the next closest thing. All right, let me put that one away and a couple others, and I'll be right back. All right, I was talking about Chunky Gal, and this piece just called out to me, obviously. This is one of the pieces that I mined in the last many years I've been going there and found. And then I sliced it up really thin. And in this one piece alone, I actually counted them at one time. And I mined it, I sawed it, I made it. And I think it was over 70 of the rubies. And you can see, I have them backlit right now, so let me just move the light around. You can see all the little red dots, except how you really count them is you go in the closet. Yep, in the closet you go with a long wave ultraviolet light, and then those red dots light up like a stop sign. They really, really have a strong fluorescence, and that's where a lot of the fun comes in. So let me just move this stand for a moment and put that light up to. Now, when I was up there just this other week with my son, we actually ran into this old fella and his wife were riding around back on Buck Creek. Now, Buck Creek has a lot of significance. I'll tell you that story maybe a time when I'm talking about rhodolite garnets. But this old timer, there was a dog was involved, and he was running loose, and he was a really, you could tell, expensive hunting dog. And he looked lost because he ran up to our car, and we're way back in the woods, way back on this road, okay, so nobody was around. So we stopped, and this other, and checked on the dog, and he had 2 collars on him, and another guy pulls up, an old guy. He looked like me 10 years from now, probably. He looked like a grizzled miner with his wife and in a pickup truck. And he said, oh, that's a hunting dog. He's got a tracking collar on him. And sure enough, it was by, a name brand tracking collar, and it was working and everything. So in other words, the owner could find his dog when he needed to. And they were out, he said, this time of year, pig hunting. And in the forest, of course, pigs are very bad. They are an invasive species. They're not natural to the environment, and they can be hunted year-round. So, I've been up there so many times. I've never seen any sign of pigs. I know what it looks like. But anyway, the dog was back there, and it got me to talking to this guy. And he saw us bringing out buckets. He goes, you guys going mining? And we said, yes. He pulled out a Chunky Gal ruby crystal, a couple of them. And when he used the word smaragdite for the green material right then, I knew he was the real deal. He wasn't just a tourist. He knew, if you know what the green material is, you're advanced. Smaragdite comes from the word smaragdos, meaning emerald. You can see why. Look at the color. And so that is a type of, look at that. And then look at the rubies that can form in it. Also, I found black spinels in here and other beautiful, beautiful, even bluish gray sapphires I found. And so this piece, I just, let me put it back on its stand, sprayed with some, my cheesy, inexpensive polish, which you can see there. You can put further coats on it so you don't see the saw marks in it. And there's the other side. It fluoresces. It's a stunning fluorescent material. And anyway, you can have this item, which I sawed, I mined it, I made it, the whole works, and unfortunately, my labor, just throw away the labor, because overall, I'm marking it down to only $28. $28, and you can have something made in America, believe me, unless you go and mine this material by yourself. There's nowhere else you can get it in the entire world. the ruby in the smaragdite is, yeah, just not found just anywhere. And if you do find it, then to find it with the rubies in it, it does not occur. Everything just has to be right, especially to get the really good, beautiful green color. Now, it has a chromium content in it, and it's a calcium, magnesium, iron, chromium with silica, but it's a variety of actinolite. So that is the family that it belongs to, and it's just really stunning material that you can see. Oh, here's how thin it is. Yeah, only $28. All right. I get too excited and talk too long about my chunky gal items because when you find them, you just have an affinity to them. That one I found with my son is probably going to be the most precious one I've found. And, you know, I wanted to give it to him, and I tried. He goes, Dad, you know, I'm going back with her. I could just tell. Rocks just aren't his thing. It's just kind of sad, but anyway. Well, at least he went with me and did all the heavy carrying, and we had an amazing time. Item 113, 5423. Now, oddly enough, or maybe not so oddly, here is something we were talking about just this morning, a little bit ago. Well, it's morning to me. Look at that. Tangerine quartz. That is hematite. That is this incredibly beautiful coating that if you're not careful, you'll accidentally remove it. If you go to clean it in the wrong substance, yeah. See, a lot of people will think, oh, it's citrine. Okay, like say citrine. That color, it goes all the way through in citrine, like amethyst, all the way through. It's not a surface coating. This is just a surface coating. If I put it in oxalic acid, it will look like that. It will strip that coating off. This is some of the nicest material, though, when you get this kind of even coating on top of a very attractive and aesthetic formation of crystals. So anyway, this is a nice example and piece to have. And for me to, again, mark this guy down. Big discount on this one. How about this? How about this? Wow. Okay. Let's go ahead and offer that, believe it or not, for only $44. $44 on that. And look how big that is. It's a really attractive specimen. And I even see a little bit of light iridescence that can occur on the faces of the crystal as well, adding to its attractiveness. I like it. And if you like quartz, that needs to be in your collection as an example of quartz because of the surface coating. Now, let's see what we have. Oh, this. Yeah, this is crazy that I have this. 113-5823. 113-5823. But, you know the magic of this show, not everything always sells the first time. Oftentimes it waits till the right person is watching, and then it gets sold. And this might be one of those because I still have these. Look at these. Look at the cut. These are natural stones, citrine, and you can see, let's see, we were just talking about citrine, so yeah, look at that. You can see how close in color that citrine is to this material. So don't be tricked and buy hematite quartz for citrine crystals. That would be something you would know you need to know how to tell the difference. Look at the amethyst, and it's natural. I checked. The peridot. Really in now, the right color of blue topaz, that nice aquamarine looking color, and an you know, I'm going to say almandine, but that surely looks like red pyrope. And if that's the case, I don't think I've checked that. It would be worth a lot more. I won't get this out because I'm trying to get some items shown, but check that with a magnet and see if it's either, if it does not jump or move to the magnet, then you have something a lot more, a lot bigger treasure. 9.96 carat, and this guy, the entire parcel, I had offered for $3 a carat. You guys didn't want it. That's 9 stones, $27. Yeah, so that was either $3 a carat or it worked out the same, $3 a stone. 9 stones, 9.96 carat total weight. Yeah, how about that? So where do we go from here? Well, I want to make a big enough difference, so let's do something really crazy. Because Anthony and Harry and others, we know how long it takes to actually, Latif sitting right here knows how long it takes to cut one of those stones. So if I offer all 9 of them, not counting what the cost of the material, the rough would be. So this is insulting to cutters. So here we go, $21. $21 for that parcel of 9 stones. Oh my. That you should get, and just, even if you don't do anything with it, for that amount of money, just put it in a display, or, you know, seriously, here's all it takes. And here's what I did with some. Okay, take a stand like that, and you take the parcel and you put it in a display stand and put it in your cabinet. It's just like they are. Or you take them and sprinkle them around. Just, you know, ladies, be creative in your decorative ways. That's one thing I actually could do. Now, Raven did do a great job when she, on her cabinets. She made them foo-foo-y, but they look really, really good. And she's really big about putting one thing on top of another, you know, in displaying, like other little critters or carvings or something. Yeah, it ends up looking real good on the kitchen counter. All right, item 113-4823. Let's take a trip to one of the most mineralized mountains in the world. It is known as that, and it's right here in Georgia, known as Graves Mountain. By way of the number of minerals found there, it has an amazing reputation. Remember that tergite specimen I had that was the iridescent goethite? That was a crazy, crazy specimen that is, you could search all around and not find something like that from Graves Mountain in particular. That was an amazing piece that there won't be another one of as far as I'll be offering. The other thing that is amazing from there are, look at that. That is stunning. 113, yep, 40, Graves Mountain, lazulite in quartzite. Now the quartzite, if you look closely, it has a strong pyrite content. And you can actually see the little pyrite crystals in it. You can see pyrite up and around here, here. But what is amazing is this crystal that has been cut as part of the cabochon. That is actually one of the finest lazulite crystals I have seen. Now remember, lazulite is supposed to be the primary component in lapis lazuli. As so many people often think. But the reality of it, of course, is a trick, because that's how I keep the two separate. Because lazulite, you would think, is the mineral from lapis lazuli, because it's spelled exactly the same except without the T and E. And all I know is when I think of that, I know that that's the wrong mineral. It is often thought to be lazulite, but the case in lapis lazuli is actually lazurite. Lazurite. But now the reality of the lazurite is they've determined it to be a sulfur-dominant alwine, and there's actually no lazurite in it. But that's slowly coming into the market. It'll still probably always be called lapis lazuli, even though it is a rock and not officially named that way. This is much rarer. This is lazulite, and lazulite can be found in this color or a denim type of color. And I have some beautiful crystals I've offered that came from Graves Mountain, some doubly terminated. You can see this is doubly terminated. This is a really, really rare deep blue color in this cabochon. And there's the pyrites on the back and some more crystals. Wonderful, wonderful cabochon and a great representation and of all the minerals that can be found there associated with the lazulite. I cut this one a number of years ago from some rough. My friend actually that I've gotten the rutile from there, he actually was allowed to bring a heavy equipment in there and mine there a great number of years ago, and found stunning specimens of everything from rutile. It's still yielding a lot of neat treasures in the rutile range and the lazulite, but not the tergites and other things like that. No, don't find that. This great specimen here is a discounted opportunity on this one even, which shouldn't really do. This is a rare, valuable. I offered it for just over $5 a carat before. Here, let's do something crazy. If you want something really unique with that crystal there like it is, I'm gonna make this only, let me see, what's the weight of it? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do only $38. Only $38 on that piece. And that brings, it's really, for a cabochon, one of the nicest you could ever hope for when you're cutting one to get a nice specimen of the lazulite as part of it. You couldn't do any better than this. The size of the crystal, the location of it, the quartz, the pyrite, everything around is really a beautiful, beautiful representation. All right, let me put this up and I'll be right back with some more goodies. Okay, something you haven't seen here. Now, you're gonna learn something new. Maybe you know it. Rhyolite. Rhyolite. The term was first coined in 1860 by Baron von Richthofen. If that sounds familiar, it is because, yes, he was the grandfather of the famous World War I aviator. It's Greek, rhyo, from rhyax, meaning stream of lava, which is exactly what rhyolite is. It is from lava. Now, you've seen rhyolite in the form of where Ethiopian opals have formed with rhyolite. You've seen Mexican opal, fire and precious, form in rhyolite. So it can take on different looks and some different forms. Here is a stunning example of Peruvian rhyolite. Look at that. And lots of things, because it's, what it is 20% quartz or silica and 40 to 90% plagioclase feldspar. So rhyolite is a composition of quartz and feldspar. Look, you can see that taking something like this, which looks exactly like what this would have come from, and oddly enough, it is marked Peru. This is red rhyolite. A really cool skull, carved in a Peruvian style. Now, I say that because oddly, or maybe not so oddly enough, it has more of an alien look. And if you watch any of the ancient origins, I think it's called, but where they delve into potential visits by aliens, they kind of have more of a look like that in South America in long ago carving. So maybe they carry forward, because I can tell you this, something like this would have been carved in a very artisanal setting, meaning a very localized, like a family with some people that carve in the family. It's not being carved in a big factory type of situation. So here is a piece of the rough. It goes with this, so it would make a wonderful display. You could probably create it to where it sits on there, maybe with some of that goop. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's a kind of neat before and after. I often like to show what can be done in that style of having a piece of rough and cut, either as a cabochon or carved. Either way, only $18 for both. $18 for both. And so that makes a wonderful opportunity. Item 112, 6823. Oftentimes, like, I wrap these back up and I read the description, and it's like a surprise to me what I find inside, because they are wrapped up and sometimes stay wrapped up for a long time before I unwrap them, and I don't know what they look like. Ooh, look at this one. This is a starry night sky. Look at that. Oh, wow. It's items like this that really are stunning and yet affordable. I'm looking at something on here I hadn't seen. Where is that reflection I just saw? Right across there. That just stood out to me as kind of odd. It's not going in any particular direction, but most likely it looks like a barite crystal, but you never know. Could be all kinds of things. So the barites are the raised ledges, and the vanadinites are all the bright, shiny items covering them. How neat is that? So the vanadinite is has lead in it, vanadium, and chlorine as part of its makeup, and that one is covered. So it really makes a nice display item and can be displayed in multiple directions. Look at on the base, a completely different color. If you get actually a different colors, that is where you can actually cross over into another mineral called mimetite. And that can often be yellow. So sometimes those specimens will have mimetite on them, and you won't really even know it unless you look at the crystal and examine it for it to be something different. Like down here, all of a sudden you have a really different area of color. And that's, you know, it may not be anything different, or it may be, but that's what should attract you, is those areas like that, to find maybe a different mineral present. I have a opportunity on this. I want someone to go home with it at an amazing deal and make this one $16. Wow, $16 sale price opportunity on that guy. Now, as I'm trying to wrap some of these things up as we go, so I don't have a complete mess in front of me, or where they don't damage each other. That's why you guys get them from shipping in such a great way, because shipping does an amazing job, especially on my kind of unusual weirdo stuff. The Unikite earrings, no one wanted those. They were only $18. I don't know how far I can go from there. Let's see, how about this? Item number 1138123. Here is one of those deals that you really don't know what you have until you have it. Here is, look at this parcel of emeralds. Look at this. Now, again, they might look rough, but you remove the skin on some of these, this outer oxidation layer, or that has a micaceous type layer where mica is involved, and you can get into some other colors that you might be surprised. So let me just backlight a couple of these. And so they really make some great specimens. Look at this. Look at this crystal shape. Really nice crystal shape to it. And then also, look at the great colors in that you wouldn't necessarily know were there. You can also tumble this material and come up with something, look at that you wouldn't think was in there. So either way, you have specimens, or see, that's more like a green beryl or a golden beryl on some of those. So how about this? When the entire batch is $9. All right, let me put those away. I'll be right back. Might look a little boring from this angle to start with, but just wait. It gets better. For one thing, this, I sawed off one of those big crystal specimens from Bahia, Brazil, that you've seen me have before. Okay, you can see the emerald crystal right there, running right there. Here's another one right there. There's another separate crystal. But like I told you before, I like to put together little collections for display. This is going to be the base, because look what comes with this parcel opportunity. I have 4 emerald crystals. So what you do is you just can create a nice little emerald display. I mean, obviously, the quality is what it is because you're displaying it as a mineral specimen, not as a gem specimen. So here is basically green beryl, you could call it, but you know, by way of terminology, green beryl is emerald, so here you go. And you can arrange these as you want. These, look at this, look at the colors in these. Definitely cabochon color. It just makes a nice kind of little display depending on how you turn them or how you want to play around with them. Put some other colors on there. And there you go. I mean, nothing better than that, especially when you consider the budget. I've never actually, I tell you what, I'm going to make you an opportunity on this. You get everything you see for, you know, I even saw it and sprayed my cheesy spray polish on there of lacquer spray, but it's so much easier. I used to work flat laps. I would polish that specimen, you know, the right way. And you have to put weight on top of here. So you glue a leaded weight on top of this specimen. Then it has to go in a rubber ring because this goes on a flat lap that is vibrating, right? It's got a weight on one side of the lap that causes it to vibrate off cycle. And that's how it's done. And to prevent it, of course, you're doing multiple from cracking or bumping into other ones polishing. So a rubber ring has to go around it. You have to have weight because this is lightweight. It's not heavy enough to create the pressure needed to sand and polish it. There is a lot of weight versus taking a can of spray, lacquer spray, and one side and spray the other and let it dry and do it a couple more times. And hey, this is what you get. It's also removable if you want to also. But look at that. That is really cool. And, you know, wonderfully translucent. So all of that for the opportunity, price-wise, of let's do something. So $28. $28. Now that is a Rockhound's stocking stuffer indeed. All right, look at the last one coming of this, and I really should keep it. Item 112-1823. 112-1823. I see I have 2 of these parcels left. And what it is, which we're talking about right here, you know, here's another thing you can do. You can take that and you can put these on top of it, because what you're looking at right here is Goshenite, clear beryl. So what a neat display that would make also, because you have another family of beryl that a lot of people aren't familiar with, and that is beryl in its pure form. So beryl in its pure form is actually clear, just like tourmaline. Tourmaline without any impurities, called acrolite, is clear. Al2O3, otherwise known as corundum, otherwise known as ruby and sapphire, in its pure form, Al2O3, without anything else, it is clear. These are allochromatic stones, meaning they get their outside colors from impurities. So for emerald, it's chromium and vanadium. For tourmaline, it's any one of a number of impurities. For all those colors, ruby and sapphire, it's iron and titanium. For blue and sapphire, you have, of course, chromium for the red in ruby. And that's one of the neat things. Chromium can make emerald green, and chromium makes ruby red. It is the interaction of the impurity with the other elements present that create that wide variety of colors. So anyway, I only have 2 of these parcels. This is these are old native cuts. They are plenty fine, really, the way they are. Look at that, nice brilliance to that one. You can see it was a deeper cut stone. Or those of you that cut can recut them for fun and really produce something nice and brilliant. Goshenite is hard to find. Yeah, of course it would be, because most of the time there's impurities in beryl. It's very rare that there isn't. So how about this? 2 parcels left. I'll offer them at a discount, and let's make them only, that's crazy for this much material, 5 carats, $21 a parcel. $21 a parcel. And here's the other one I'll show you. We won't take it out, but you can see it's just the same. But see, like, that's neat. So create a beryl display. And let me, while we have those right there, there was something else that I wanted to feature, if I can find it. Yep, here it is. Okay, let's look at item number 103, 6821. 103, 6821. Now, since we're talking about beryl, and we were talking about aqua before that, we were talking about the Heliodor and golden beryl. Look what I have. Look what I have here. Wow, these are so bright. Natural color Madagascar golden beryl from my own collection. And so I even know exactly where this came from. You can see it at the bottom. The Frianaratoa province. Can't speak Madagascar, but I spelled it there, and I think you have that, don't you, Latif? This is collector stones, natural color. Now, a lot of golden beryl is heat treated. Well, I won't necessarily say heat treated. Let's just say treated. These are not. So if you're making a beryl display, would these not look beautiful there as well? So you have, but you know, those look like almost like the yellow diamonds. They just have that really beautiful color tone to them. So you could add those to a collection and a display, and they really stand out. So these also would make a really nice choice in a ring if you're doing some side stones. And I have these at a discount now. Oh, I can't imagine this inexpensive, but how about both of them for $9? $9, and in that really strong color tone. That's a jewel. That's a really amazing jewel. Beautiful stones. Beautiful. And a great job of Latif having to hand type all that in. So now, down here, we switched it up a bit. We have Yo on camera. You probably heard of him many times from upstairs on camera and in the behind the scenes. Been here a long time. Important guy. Great guy. Great guy. Just don't have him down here often enough. But with Dave gone and Asif always needed everywhere, we had to divide it up a little bit. That's right. You know, sickness all around, taking out some people plus the holidays. That's what's doing it. Boy, that looks really good. Now I look at the bigger screen. I seldom look that way. Boy, that looks great over there. Good job on that. That's looking good for $9. Now, granted, that's $9 just for the 2 Yellowstones. I don't want anyone to get anything wrong. I got too much out there. All right, let me take a minute break here and pick all this up. I'll be right back. Look at these, still available if you want them. Kyanite, look at that. Look at that beautiful Brazilian kyanite. And, you know, kyanite is a really fantastic stone. And then look at the iolites at the bottom, looking very much like sapphires. So you have kyanite with the unusual property of 2 different hardnesses, depending on which direction you scratch it in, which is amazing. Remember, it's a polymorph of andalusite and sillimanite. And then you have iolite, which, of course, changes color, very dichroic, trichroic, with the direction you turn it. You see that one, you turn it right there, and you get a tan to clear view. But straight on, looking like sapphires. What a wonderful pair of silver earrings. And I am offering these sale priced for $18. The stones alone outside of the mountings should be that. Opportunity right now, $18. All right, let's keep moving here and see what other amazing deals I can find for you. All right, these, yeah, 111-8823. 111-8823, root beer. If I say root beer, you should say, exactly, Vesuvianite. Exactly, root beer float. I grew up. Do you know what a root beer float is? You thought you were too young. We got Yo on the camera. No, root beer floats. We grew up, and when I'm one of 6, and when Mama said it was root beer float time, oh my gosh, we ran, us kids ran, and she would get that vanilla ice cream out and pour that root beer on it, and oh, I loved root beer floats. But I hadn't had one since a child. That's amazing. All right, root beer. We say Vesuvianite when you're a rock. Oh, Yo, we gotta give you a little training here. We still gotta train you a little bit here. Look at the color here. This is why we call it root beer. When you're cracking me up, Yo. He's a newbie to the camera here a little bit, but he's been here at Gem Shop a long time. All right, so you can see that they are really a root beer color. It's really amazing. But usually, Vesuvianite, the other word is idocrase for it. It is a green color and is been used as a gemstone. Look at that. Isn't that root beer? Look at that, Yo. Oh, yeah, that is root beer. And look at the crystal formation. Yeah. And then look at this. Look at that. That has a really attractive crystal formation. It is, you know, what we refer to as a thumbnail specimen because of the size. There's entire thumbnail dealer collections, and for those of you or all of us that can only afford some of the smaller sizes, I see some iridescence coming off of there that looks a little bit like some of those androdite garnets. But look at it, nice terminations and a classic desirable color for this material from Pakistan with clinochlor. So what you have down here and the other crystals in between is clinochlor. Wait, did you look at that blue reflecting off of there right there? What in the world is that coming from? You see, that's not anything around off of here, is it?
I don't think so.
I want these back if that's coming off that crystal. We're usually really good in the studio to making sure, you know, since we sell gemstones, not to get odd reflections like that. You saw that, didn't you? That was like as if it was labradorite or like that. But I already saw down here some iridescent colors coming off of there.
Wow. Look at that. Oh,
Oh, come on! What? There we go. There it is.
that's awesome.
Well, it's odd. It's beautiful. It's weird. I don't know what else is blue. But anyway, here we go. 2 specimens. And there we go. Look at that. All right. So how about this? Sale price. Big discount. Let's make them both total of only $24. And that is one you can add to your collection that not only do you not have already, that no one else has. So it makes a great gift because anybody that really works with Vesuvianite is only familiar really with the green variety. And this color is only, Pakistan, when they have discovered all these amazing minerals in Pakistan, and it's really quite surprising, the things that have been found and that have gotten out. And all of it, though, getting more difficult to find from those sources. Okay, next, this one, 101, hold on, wait, before I forget, this is, wow, this is what I wanted to show, but let's see. What did my darling Raven do with, here it is. Okay, I got it. Not too difficult to find. If you have been noticing that beautiful piece of blue lapis since we were talking about it, item 1144223. 1144223. Look, did it come up? Let's see, or 1144223. Here is one of the finest pieces of lapis you will ever see. Look at that, yo. Isn't that stunning? That is truly stunning. And this is world class, as you can see in the description. Look at that. Look at that. You expect and accept a little bit of pyrite. I even don't mind a little bit of pyrite, but the best of the best of the best of the best really is pyrite free, basically. And this is some of the only material. And why don't you go in a little closer there, yo? Let's see what we have. Look at that. Look at how clean. That is pyrite free. It is simply almost calcite free. But here's the neat thing. Here's a little bit of pyrite running across here. Here's a little bit of the calcite under fluorescent light. This glows a beautiful orange fluorescence all along here. So that makes it really neat in itself. If you have a diamond saw and you want to make more of what you have, just take that saw right down through one of these seams, probably this one. This one, no, because I like the fluorescent calcite part. But if you want to make a really neat piece and get twice the square inches, so to speak, of this kind of quality, take a saw blade to it. Take a saw blade. This, even though it's polished on every side, look at that. And it's a stunning specimen. The size it is, by sawing it in two, doesn't change that. You still have both those beautiful sides and have two of them to show off. Then that's not when you spray the cheesy polish on it. That's when you can either hand polish it. And you see this dip in there? What that tells you is this was not put on a flat lap. None of this was. It was all polished. They have these big Muslim buffing wheels, and they hand hold this material and polish it. There's a little bit of pyrite. Maybe you can see the reflections up here. So anyway, a world-class piece, and I can't believe it. So that it actually is named after the Persian word for lazward, meaning blue. So of course we talked about this earlier. There is actually no lazurite technically in it. It's a sulfur-bearing aween, but we won't worry you too much about that. But one day you'll have to deal with accepting it. But so far it's still lapis lazuli and not lapis aween. All right, I have a sale price on this when I shouldn't. So let's see who is going to be the wise one and take advantage of this opportunity. I am going to make that entire piece. Here we do. Here we go. This is going to be a final price, so I'll make it crazy. $98. $98. Look at that. It's huge. It is impressive. It is showy. It is beautiful. It is the best of its kind. Now, I have that stunning specimen back here of the prehnite. You know what? I'm not going to show it to you this week, but I probably will want to show it to you again. Let me show you a quantity opportunity here. And these I have tumbled before. I've had some tumbled. They are stunning. Let me count the parcels. 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 parcels of item number 112, 7823. And here you go. This is your chance. They are 100 carat parcels and they tumble beautifully. It is Tanzanian Hessonite garnet. Hessonite garnet. And you can see that all of them basically roughly the same. There is a lot of facet grade material in these parcels. They tumble to a really high finish as well. I mean, look at that. Here, I'll just dump out a random parcel here. And so you have, there's 7 parcels. Look at this, look at this. This is material that, let's see, I've had, I can trace it back around 30 years or so, going back at least 30 years. So this was mined in the 90s or earlier. And you just can't get material like this anymore. This is old stock. Like I'm looking at this one just right there. And look at the clarity to that piece. Look at that. I mean, that would, look at that. That would cut an incredible emerald cut or a pear shape or freeform. And that just stood out at me. So take advantage of these because especially at the sale price now that I'm doing on them, which brings a 100 carat parcel down to only $21. $21. That's for that much. You know, if you go and look up faceting material, if you can even find Hessonite as a choice. You know, Hessonite, remember, is a type of grossular garnet. And it's just not easy to find. And then to have it in roughly that same size, which makes great for tumbling, that size. And then, wow, then you have, look at some of these that are mixed in that I just noticed. Look at the clarity and how yellow. Look at that. So that is a yellow garnet. The only other garnets I've seen yellow have been the Molly ones from, you know, that are the mix, the garnet mix that has, look at the clarity to that. I mean, that was just one that stood out. Look at the clarity to that. These are basically easily classified as facet grade. And I actually sent a bunch of these off and had them cut and still could, and got back stunning quality stones. There's that really big one, but that's just a random parcel. They're all like this, all like this. And you can see, it's funny to see that the shape of these, so you can see that the garnets were not like well crystallized. They were more larger pieces that kind of broke off from main crystals they weren't like attached to matrix. I would have liked to have actually seen what the original rough looked like. They're certainly not alluvial either. So they weren't rounded in a stream bed. Here we go. I've got a sale for you. 113-7023. 113-7023. And take a look at this. So let me dump these out. And let's see, if I don't pick them up, they'll wind up in jewelry that Dave's mom will make. She did, from little pieces left behind. Dave's mom made an amazing ring, or no, pendant. You should have seen it. It was crazy. It was from what we call the crumbs, what Kim always calls the crumbs. So over the years, little pieces I left behind, and it was pretty cool. All right, so black spinel. These are neat, but there's a lesson on these if you're a cutter. I think it's just kind of cute to show. I don't know if cute's the word, but if you look on the surface, it's called orange peel. You see how the surface of it is not polished smooth? And maybe the back shows it better. See, it is not completely smooth. It is orange peel. And it looks exactly like the surface of an orange peel. So a great name. It's almost intentional. I can't imagine someone cutting in Kanchanaburi, which I've been to for weeks, in Thailand. They're so good at working with spinel. It's, I don't know. That would be like a beginner, like maybe a 4-year-old might have cut that kind of thing. But anyway, these will polish up. They work great for not only hardness testing for other stones, but also for, I think they're actually close to 2-match pair, for backing for doublets. So yeah, circa 1992 in Kanchanaburi. And that's where I got them. 2 stones match pair. I'm reading the info on here. Beautiful black spinels. So I picked them up on, I'm sure, inexpensively. So I'm going to offer these at a really good price. And let's say all 4 stones for only $9. $9. They have black spinel there, carvings that extend like 2 and 3 feet. They're entire scenes of elephants, of trees, extremely intricate because spinel is so hard and so durable. It's kind of like working with jade, that they could actually carve these intricate scenes. And of course, they're not cheap, but it did tell me that spinel forms in large, massive pieces and not just in crystal form. Let's see what we have here. Oh, let's look at this. Item 114-1323. 114-1323, and I have something. I think we sold the other pair, but this is parrot wing. And if I said that, what would you say? You'd say, what happened to the rest of the parrot? No, this is parrot wing chrysocolla. Check this material out. This is neat as can be. And if anybody noticed, I should make you tell me what kind of pendant I am wearing. Now, I'm not going to make you do that because I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit about it relative to what we're looking at here. This is from a particular place, Mina Maria in Sonora, Mexico. And I've used to live in Mexico, travel Mexico extensively, along with living in Ecuador and Costa Rica. So I know some of the material that you can find. And this is some of the really nice mix of material because it contains malachite, cuprite, which is a copper mineral, and azurite. Now, if you noticed my pendant by any chance, it goes great with my shirt. and my t-shirt underneath because it is Elot stone. Now, if I said it's Elot stone, that may be a trivia question, but we're not doing trivia today. Too bad. That would have been a good one. I would say, where is Elot stone found? Because it's only found in one place in the world. And it is exactly like this. It contains malachite, azurite. It contains chrysocolla. It contains something called pseudochrysocolla. It can contain some silica and also turquoise. What am I? Elot stone, only found in one place in the world, and that is Elot, Israel. What an appropriate stone. You might know that I had to borrow this from the Raven because she has 4 of them in pendants. Yeah, 4 Elot stones. Here's the thing. She didn't even know what she had. I looked at those. I said, you know what this is? Because she bought them because she liked them. This is a long time ago when Elot stone was available and affordable. And I said, you have Elot? Well, what's that? She didn't even know. And I showed her and talked to her about it. And now, of course, she treasures her Elot stone. It is a combination of copper minerals, and that combination is found no other place. This is close to it and looks a little bit similar. Just a little bit heavier on the green with the malachite here. So a wonderful pair. They're drilled so you can hang them ready to go off kidney wires for earrings, or design something else for them. And I am going to put them for sale and make them only $38 now. Only $38. So Elot stone, I have it as a pendant. You can take now you know, but these are really similar. The only thing that's missing in their composition would be the pseudochrysocolla, which there could be pseudochrysocolla. There's so many copper minerals blend together, and then the other thing would be the turquoise. And when I look on the back, I mean, these look like they have some of that as well. So it's really close to the pendant I'm wearing that's Elot stone, but as Elot, you can see why it'd be mixed up. Oh, by the way, if you go to try to buy Elot stone, there is tons of other things traveling the market as Elot stone like this. And if you go to Elot, Israel, basically you're warned that as a tourist, unless you're someone like me that knows exactly what he's buying, you're going to buy material not mined from there. It will be, and then it's not Elot stone unless it's actually from there. It'll be a combination of other copper minerals from other places, and could be very similar to what we're looking at right here. And it will not be $38. Genuine Elot stone is quite expensive now, and really hard to find the real deal. Now, let me see. What I have back here. Okay, we're gonna have to get ready to wind it up. There's not going to be a trivia, but I tell you what, I'm gonna show one more piece here, and then the guy's got to go work on a crisis, and with all the electrical equipment around here, you can imagine there is lots of crises sometimes. All right, here we go. For my last item, I have picked something here that you need to have. It is, oh, I guess it helps them put those there. If you have the item number 113-1423, 113-1423. And I am going to sale price these beauties. Let me show them to you. And it's just kind of neat to have some. Look at these. Look at this. Beautiful parcel of black diamonds. Carat 60. A carat 60. Look at all those. And it's pretty wild to look at those and to think of them as diamonds. Look at that. Oh, yeah, really neat, really neat. I have more, and I have some those small crystal diamonds, but we'll show those another day. But just giving you an idea of the size of these, 68 stones. They range from, you know, around 1 point to maybe 3 points, something like that. And here is the shocker, the sale price. I am going to offer you that entire parcel, carat 60. So let's see. Let's just mark it down to $32, $20 a carat. $32. That is only $20 a carat. Wow. That's a lot of diamonds for $32. Hey, and by the way, don't use that as a price guide. When you go, and if you're looking at jewelry and it has black diamonds, you think, well, they're only $32 a carat. No, this is Shawn's price. This is Shawn's basement price where, you know, out of my collection of all kinds of stuff, I can make it any price I want because I really don't know what I have in these items that I have collected for decades and decades. Okay, we're going to wrap it up right now. I'll be right back to close it out. All right, so I tried to get in as many items as I could. Started a little late, ran a little short through the show, but hey, take advantage of the items. Take advantage. I marked them way down so that you would, and that's my New Year's present from me to all of you. Happy New Year. I hope it's a great year, a better year for all of us in every way that our heart desires. And mostly just love one another, pay that love forward, don't expect it to come back, just give it out freely, and let the universe do the rest. Because if you take the high road, you do the right thing. Sometimes you wonder why, and so I know, from personal feelings, and sometimes you wonder, well, when is it going to be my turn? When is something going? Well, you know, karma is a strange thing. It takes its time, and but when something works and happens for you, it is at the best time, and happens on the universe's time. And you couldn't ask for anything better than that. Not when we want it, but when someone greater than ourselves wants it to happen. That's when something good will happen for you. At least I need to believe in that myself, because if I don't hang on to something like that, then sometimes hanging on to that edge of a cliff, yeah, it takes too long. So, you know, unless that edge of a cliff you're hanging on to and you're staring right at it, and all of a sudden you're looking at a big tourmaline pocket, you know, you might just find a way up over that cliff and on to better things. And I guess maybe I still am always hoping for that gem pocket. That you know, Latif just sent me a link to about mining claims, and so I was telling him about mining claims when I lived in Denver, and how this is in listen to this. So 1981 is when I was in Denver, Colorado, and when I had to research for mining claims, I went to the Denver Library and I got out these giant geological survey maps. That's how I had to do it. And of course, now it's all online. You know, it's so different than when I remember doing it. But when I remember doing it, there was no zooming in on the map. The map was the size of what you had, and the area that it covered was really small, so it was incredible detail. And there were so many mines that I just went crazy in Colorado. But what I was thinking about doing was actually filing a claim. Can't do that in the eastern United States. It has to be out west, where they still have Bureau of Land Management and federal land, but it is still doable. And that's always a thought, you know? You're walking across and you stumble across an agate deposit. Wouldn't that be neat? Make a claim on it, and you're mining agate. It wouldn't matter what I'm mining. I went for chrysotile serpentine. I got an extinct mine. But that's what happens if you don't act sooner. Later, maybe too late. Anyway, I always enjoy spending this time with you, and I look forward to another wonderful, wonderful year into working on our 7th year doing this. God bless all of you, and I will see you, well, I would say next year, but you're seeing this already next year. I will see you next week. Take care.